Hi all, how is it going? This is Ashwin again. Welcome back to another exciting tutorial on OpenCV and Python. In the last tutorial we saw how to create kernels and how to do convolution operation with kernel on image. We saw how to get variety of image processing operations done on the image using the kernels. We saw how to do edge detection, how to sharpen the image, and how to blur the image using box blur kernel. So in this tutorial we are going to have a look at something known as low pass filters. So if any one of you is comfortable with signal processing and electronics, you will immediately understand what low pass filters is. And specifically in this tutorial I am going to explain what it is and how we can implement it using Python and OpenCV. Also we are going to see what sort of effects actually this low pass filter creates. So from the definition of signal processing, we need to understand what low pass filter is first. So let's understand that. So we know that an image is nothing but a signal, okay, and we use matrices, matrix form to represent it in a computer. So any signal has got two components. One is high frequency component, another one is low frequency component. And so basically it's a summation of these two components, and when we pass this to any filter circuit or any filter function or any filter chip, then the filter chip filters one of these components and allows other component to pass through it. So a kind of filter which allows only low frequency components to pass through it, and it filters out the high frequency component, or it blocks the high frequency component from the output, is known as low pass filter. So that is the simplest definition of low pass filtering. So in any image there are two types of components. One is high frequency component as well as low frequency component, because image is also a signal. So the examples of high frequency components are the noise, either deliberately introduced or it has been introduced automatically while capturing, storing, or transmitting and receiving the images. And the other type of high frequency component is edges. And the filter, either software filter or a hardware chip which filters this image and blocks all the high frequency component in the output, and just like gives us an output image with a very low frequency component, is known as low pass filter. So this low pass filter, thus this low pass filter is capable of blurring an image, denoising an image, as well as smoothing an image. So all these three operations can be performed by low pass filters. So we already manually created the low pass filters by means of using kernels in the last tutorial. So I think that we saw how to create the box blur. Okay, we created this filter. And so let's have a look at the last example. So the last example was kernels and convolution, and I think yes, so this is the low pass filter that we created. Okay, so it is 11 by 11 divided by 121, and it's a matrix of which consists all ones. Now we are going to see the ready-made low pass filter functions which are there in OpenCV. So the beauty of these functions is that we really do not have to create convolution matrices or kernels and pass them as an argument to these functions. We just need to pass the sizes of the kernels that we want to use to these functions, and these functions will automatically create the kernels internally, and they will also apply that kernel to the image, and then they will return an output image, and which we can catch in a variable and then use it for whatever we want. So these functions are known as low pass filter functions, and they are very useful. So let's have a look at three different low pass filter functions here. We are going to have a look at box filter, then we are going to have a look at blur and Gaussian blur. So yes, these are the kind of kernels it will create internally. So I am just telling you a bit detail how it internally works, so that you will not get confused, because the code only has 3 lines and it is not really worth to have an entire tutorial only for those 3 lines. So you also need to understand how it works internally. So it is going to create box blur. This is the kernel it uses for box blur, and this is for Gaussian blur. So even I mean, we can create it ourselves and apply it, but you try to understand that it is kind of headache for anyone to create this big kernel. I mean, if you miss any one of these numbers, or if you mess up with any one of these numbers, then it's going to be really hard for us to debug all this stuff, right? That's why we can just go ahead and use these ready-made functions to apply image processing operations on an image. So let's have a look at these functions. So as of now, I have just created like a code, and this is the first one is the box filter. So I'm just applying a box filter, and you can see this is the box blur or box filter. Okay, so here it's 3 by 3 divided by 9. Here it is 53 by 53. We just need to pass the dimensions to it, and it will automatically calculate the denominator and all that stuff. It will automatically create the kernel. It is not possible for us to see the kernel as we used to see in the code earlier, because that kernel was custom created. Here it will internally create the kernel, and it will just apply it on the image, and we will just be able to see the output. For the rest of the 2 operations, I have just like kept the placeholder as img, because we really want to just focus on one filter at a time, and we just want to see the difference. Once we are done with the box filter, we are going to move ahead and see what blur filter looks like, or how an image filtered by the blur looks like. So let's execute this thing, and this is how the image looks like when we apply a 53 by 53 box filter on that. So now let's see how we can apply the blur filter. Applying blur filter is very easy, even easier than applying the a box filter. Just say blur and image img comma 3,3. Okay, so this is the blur filter. So let's have a bigger filter so that the difference between the input image as well as the output image should be considerable. Otherwise, there won't be any use of this exercise. Yeah, you can see that the image has been blurred. Okay, and finally we are going to have a look at Gaussian blur. So the filter for Gaussian blur looks like something like this. So this is a 3 by 3 filter, and this is a 5 by 5 filter. We are going to have some other filter, because you can see the results in the Wikipedia page for 3 by 3 as well as 5 by 5 filter. GAUSSIAN blur. Okay, so this is the Gaussian filter or Gaussian blur. So we'll just say img comma let's say 7 by 7 and 0. So finally we are going to execute this code, and let's check the output. Yes, I guess the image has been blurred. It's not blurred enough. So let's make it 17 by 17 and see what the output is. Wow. Yes, the image has been blurred a bit. So if you execute the code, you will understand the difference. I mean, you have to see it with your own eyes. It might not be like quite apparent on the recording that there is some difference between the original image as well as the blurred image with the Gaussian blur. Now what I'm thinking is that if I can shoot up this thing, then probably it should be able to do it for us. Yes, now the difference is quite apparent, and we can so that's how we can use Gaussian blur. So Gaussian blur is very useful in case of your image is contaminated with something called as Gaussian noise. You can go ahead and search for Gaussian noise and create your own customized code in Python and OpenCV to introduce Gaussian noise to your image, and then apply Gaussian blur on that. So this Gaussian blur is going to eat away all the Gaussian noise, and it's going to give you kind of cleaner image. Okay, so your images will be considerably cleaner. So as you can see, we have these are all low pass filters, and we are able to blur the image, we are able to denoise the image, and we are able to smooth the image using these filters. So this is one of the main utilities of these low pass filters. So if any one of you is quite comfortable with any image editing tools like Photoshop and all, you will be able to find like couple of smoothing functionalities in the tools. So those smoothing functionalities are the parts of that software packages which are able to create this blur or smoothing or denoising effect. They use internally all these things. Okay, and when you say that you increase the size of the brush or you give them the intensity of the blur, then it internally adjusts the size of the kernel that it is using for blurring the image. So that's how all this blurring and smoothing works. So in the next video tutorial, we are going to have a look at median blur, and we are going to find out how median blur is going to be useful to denoise an image which is contaminated by salt and pepper noise. Thanks a lot for watching my video. Let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you next time.